Hello, everybody. My name is Maria Emmerich. I'm super excited to be here. I only wish that I could meet you in person and give you all hugs. Um, Last year was just amazing. But I want to teach you about oxidative priority. And I love that KetoCon asked me to do this presentation because everything we see online, I'm usually banging my head against the wall. I just saw something on Instagram. Someone was adding exogenous ketones to an alcoholic beverage and eating some fat, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if you watch this, you will understand why that's not a good idea. But if you don't know, these are my two little boys. They are also keto. They know nothing else. They're probably more carnivore than a lot of people that I know. They love their meat. And if you don't know, I'm quite an introvert that loves to be with the whales. And this is how I spend most of my time when we're in Hawaii. And I've gotten to be pretty close with the whales. But I want to tell you about how my life used to look. When I was 16 years old, I wasn't feeling well. So I went to the family doctor. I didn't even tell my parents I was going. I just went. But at that visit, I was given 3 different prescription medications. I was told I had PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. I was 60 pounds overweight, even though I was one of the best athletes. I was giving an antidepressant because I was extremely depressed. I was given an acid blocker, and I had IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. I was kind of a mess. But that very same week, I took my beautiful golden retriever named Tiva to the vet because she was losing patches of her hair. And the first question the vet asked me was, what are you feeding her? And on the flip side, the doctor said it was nothing I was doing. It was just the cards I was dealt. I now kind of hate that doctor because I know they are lying to me. But we went home and we changed our lives. And the reason why I have addiction on the Scrabble board behind you, it's because when someone's trying to cut alcohol, everybody's very supportive of them. But when you're trying to cut carbohydrates and sugar, the food pushers come out of the woodwork, especially when it was 23 years ago. I was alone in this kind of area. There wasn't Facebook and Instagram to find an outside community to kind of help me along the way. But I'm a stubborn German girl, so I just felt like that temptation that people were trying to give me was just more fuel for me to do better. Here's a picture of me. It shows my love for baking at a very young age. It also shows my sugar addiction. I grew up loving sugar. I also had a lot of ear infections, so I was on a lot of antibiotics. And we know that antibiotics kill the good gut bacteria, and it also causes, when you have low good gut bacteria, it causes cravings. So I'm actually going to skip this because it's more of an online game or an in-person game. I play Is It Keto? But these are all these different foods that are keto. And yes, you will read ketosis with the Slim Fast. Is it healthy? No, that's not the healthy game. It is a keto. You will still read ketones with a lot of fat on white rice. Is it healthy? No, it's not. But if you add enough MCT oil to anything, you will read ketones. Is fasting keto? Yes, it is. And is sugar-free Jell-O keto? Yes, it is. I had the great opportunity to speak at Low Carb Denver, and one of the doctors said, if you need a keto treat, you just make sugar-free Jell-O, which is just filled with aspartame, food dye, maltodextrin. Don't do that. That's keto, but it's not healthy. And how about, again, bad fats will make you read ketosis, but is it a good thing? No, it's not. Margarine, you will read ketones, but vegetable oils are most likely more harmful than sugar is. And how about this? This is my protein noodle lasagna. If you haven't made it, you must try it. It's a free recipe on my blog, mariamindbodyhealth.com. It is one of my favorite recipes. So what are your goals? Keto is great for so many things. Epilepsy, cancer, depression, fertility, blood pressure. I'm going to focus on weight loss. I had the great opportunity to speak in Russia. And in Russia, the doctor was based about epilepsy. So that presentation was much different than this one. So oxidative priority, this is how our body deals with different macronutrients. And we're going to go through alcohol, exogenous ketones, carbohydrates, protein, and fat. So alcohol is oxidative priority number 1, and that's because there's no storage capacity site. Your body must utilize it, get rid of it because it's totally toxic. And there's about a 15% thermic defective food that goes along when you drink alcohol. It's not worth drinking it. Alcohol also messes with your hormones. It stimulates your appetite. It decreases testosterone. And as females, we want that too. And it increases estrogen. So men with big beer bellies, it's not a beer belly, it's an estrogen belly, just like a postmenopausal woman suffers from. And it's not biologically needed. Living in Wisconsin, I'm kind of the weirdo that doesn't drink, but it's just not worth it. Exogenous ketones is number 2. There's very little to no storage capacity site. It's not biologically needed. It's very expensive. Your body can make all the ketones it needs when you're actually truly keto adapted. And higher ketones don't mean better results. You can, like I told you earlier, you can add a bunch of MCT oil to a bowl of white rice and you'll show higher ketones. Are you burning fat? No, you're probably putting on a bunch of fat, because what's the worst thing to do? Add a bunch of carbohydrates and fat together, and then you'll gain weight. So carbohydrates is oxidative priority number 3. This has a moderate storage capacity site, about 1,200 to 2,000 calories. It's the highest amount of insulin needed to utilize. It's not very satiating and causes hunger. It's not biologically needed. Your body can make all the glucose it needs from being keto adapted from glycerol, which is stored fat or protein. And collagen is much better for feeding the gut. A lot of maybe paleo people say that you need to have carbohydrates to feed that gut flora. We have copious amounts of charts in our carnivore cookbook showing you that, and watch Craig's presentation too. It's showing that you do not need that for the gut flora. Collagen, meat fiber, that's much better for feeding the gut. Like ribs, there you go, so have some ribs. Oxidative priority number 4 is protein. There's a limited storage capacity site, about 400 calories, but it has this 25% TEF, this thermic defective food. This is why some people get the meat sweats. It's preferentially used for muscle protein synthesis or making lean mass, muscles. It's very expensive to turn into fuel or glucose. So your body only does it if there's no other fuels available. So that's an okay thing. It's biologically essential for lean mass, hair growth. A lot of women come to me saying, Marie, I'm losing my hair, help. I'm like, get your macros done, do the free calculator. You have to get your protein in, otherwise you probably will suffer some hair loss. And then fat is oxidative priority number 5. Theoretically, there's an unlimited storage capacity site. It's the smallest amount of insulin needed to utilize. Yes, it will raise insulin a little. So if you're doing a long-term fast and you think that adding in coconut oil or something like that will not be breaking your fast, or if you do bulletproof coffee, that does break your fast. It's moderately satiating when you think about calorie for calorie. It's biologically essential. So you need essential fatty acids to make hormones, absorbs vitamins like A, D, E, and K, and for cellular health. So why typical diets fail? So say you have red wine, a steak, and a sweet potato. Doesn't sound that bad, right? But alcohol, you're going to be burning alcohol. So then you're eating protein, carbohydrates, and fat. So it's processing the alcohol because that's toxic. It's building lean mass with the protein. It's storing carbohydrates, and it's storing fat. And that will cause weight gain. But why keto can be so helpful is because you're not going to drink alcohol. Cut that out. Exogenous ketones, waste of money. Carbohydrates, cut those out. They're not needed. And then you eat enough protein to build lean mass, and you eat fat depending on your goals. If you want to lose weight, you turn the dietary fat down. If you're not in it for weight loss, maybe performance, turn that dietary fat up. So let's talk about the thermic defective food a little bit more. So alcohol has 15%, ketones are 3%, protein is 25%, carbohydrates 8%, and fat is only 3%. So when you eat 100 calories of protein, you really only net 75. When you eat 100 calories of fat, you net 97. So let's see what that looks like in example with food. Example would be bulletproof coffee. I work with a lot of clients and I say, they'll say, oh, I don't eat until 1 o'clock. I was like, so you don't have bulletproof coffee? They're like, oh, I have that in the morning. I'm like, so you broke your fast when you woke up with the bulletproof coffee, because 500 calories of fat just doesn't shoot out you. The effective calories is 804 or 485 plus the blood sugar impact of caffeine. I don't drink coffee for a wide variety of reasons, one of which is how it affects my blood sugar. If you had a sirloin steak instead, not only you get to chew your calories and enjoy them, you really only net 401 calories out of the 500. It's 18% less effective calories, and it helps maintain and build lean muscle, which you don't want to lose, which you will lose when you do fat bombs and fat fasts and bulletproof coffee in place of protein. And it's always a good idea to chew your calories instead of drinking them. A protein-sparing modified fast, you may not have heard of this term before, but it's really great for ramping up weight loss and breaking stalls and keeping you satiated while reducing calories. This is just one of the multiple testimonies that I get with the protein-sparing modified fast or pure protein day. I had to force myself to hit my protein goal. I just wasn't hungry. I use the recommendations from Maria's calculator. I'm going to try another one tomorrow. It doesn't feel like I'm fasting. And the reason why this works really well too is because the superfoods are in the animal protein, and that's what you're focusing on. I find it interesting that a lot of people claim that they're doing carnivore. However, they're doing a lot of coffee and things like that. And coffee is a bean, not really carnivore. So you can be a zero carber, or there's carnivore, which is a whole nother subset of the keto diets. How to go keto the right way. Let's talk about that. So there's my little boy eating my ribs. So how do I get keto adapted? You want to focus on two things. You want to keep the carbohydrates as low as possible. Shoot for 30 grams total or less a day. Don't get caught up in subtracting fiber. That's or counting net carbohydrates. That will just cause you to be frustrated and not get to your goals. You want to hit your protein goal. So you want to shoot about for 0.8 times your lean mass in grams of protein a day. If you do those two things, you will be in ketosis. And then you eat fat to satiety. You don't have to focus on 75% fat or anything like that. If you focus on percentages, you probably will be frustrated with the results that you're getting. Fat will keep you satiated. It keeps hunger at bay, but don't aim for a percentage or a goal. If carbohydrates and protein are right, you will be in ketosis. When you are truly keto adapted, you can use dietary fat or body fat equally. The more dietary fat there is, the less your body has to work to use body fat or get into lipolysis, burning body fat. So that 70% fat of the pie includes your body fat if you're doing percentages. Don't forget to drink more water. Shoot for about half your body weight in ounces. Adding electrolytes is really important. Your body releases a lot of the salt associated with water when you're eating a lot of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates retain water. When you eliminate the carbohydrates, along goes that water loss. You're like, yay, I lost 5 pounds in a week. But that's usually just water. But that's a good thing. You're getting rid of that water retention. However, along goes all of those electrolytes, and that would be heavy legs walking upstairs. You might have low moods, a little bit of depression going on. It's not that you need carbohydrates for serotonin. That's so not true. You need amino acids from protein for serotonin. However, you do need extra potassium, magnesium. Always talk to your doctor when adding in any sort of supplements. But extra salt, potassium, and quality magnesium can help with the keto flu. I always recommend a chelated magnesium. Don't waste your time with magnesium oxide or magnesium citrate. Those are two forms that I don't recommend. If you're like, how do I even do it? I'm too busy. I'm really busy too. But you know what? I find time. Food is a priority. So befriend the slow cooker. Yesterday, I threw some ribs in the slow cooker. And when I was done with work, the house smelled amazing. The food was ready. And another reason why I love the slow cooker is if you have a lot of, family members that are running to sporting activities and after school things when school's back in session, right? all you have to do is let them eat when they want, and the slow cooker has it ready and waiting for you, and you can eat as needed. Plan ahead. So making some maybe keto waffles. I even have some totally carnivore waffles. You can make my frozen or my pizza quiche and freeze that for easy breakfast on the go, or like keto muffins, anything like that. If you're still doing lunch, pack it when you get home from work. So the next day, there's no excuses. You take that Tupperware out of the fridge and that's going to work with you. You don't have to be succumbed to going to fast food or anything like that and be tempted by anything. And then dinner, what I do, I have a wonderful husband named Craig, and he always helps clean up after dinner while I prepare dinner for the next night. And now my kids are helping because they're getting older, but I always prepare the next night's dinner the night before. So if I'm making burgers, I have the burger patties already, so all I have to do is fry them up. If we're doing steak, the steak is out and thawing. Any sides that we want are already, in the fridge and ready to go. So all I have to do is take it out. So I'm always one step ahead of time. My mom is a great woman, but she was always very stressed out when it was dinner time, and I just wanted to lower my anxiety and plan ahead. And don't be ashamed to ask for substitutions at restaurants. I was in Spain, speaking in Spain and Paris, and even in Russia. I always just substituted. And in Paris, you might get a little bit of funny looks when you say no bread, but they'll do it for you. And most of the time, those places have fantastic meats. You won't even miss the sides. I have a free shopping guide and supplements that I love at Maria Mind Body Health. It's at the top of the blog, and there's tons of discount codes for my favorite quality products. Nothing, junky there. I'm pretty strict. If I would need it, it's not on there. The cost of eating keto. So is keto expensive? Well, when you're eating keto, you're usually not as hungry because you're not messing with the blood sugar as much. Carb burners get spikes and drops, causing them to eat more and snack more. Even the 2 to 3 hours after a big meal, when your blood sugar drops, you're getting hungry, and you're eliminating snacks and cereals and chips and all of these other expensive items. And most people find that they can eat about 30% less calories to maintain their weight. And even when clients are buying organic grass-fed beef, they're spending less a month than when they're eating keto. Laura is one example of a client of mine. She's hiking the El Camino Trail right there in her flip-flops and that tiny backpack for a month. She was a raw vegan, and now she is basically a carnivore that only buys organic quality meat. And she saves about $2,000 a year now not eating vegan. Exotic ingredients are not needed. So sweeteners and almond flours, MCT oil. I don't even really use MCT oil at all unless I'm making a salad dressing, but even then I use olive oil. But you just stick to real good whole foods like beef and poultry and pork and eggs and seafood and fish. Low carb vegetables if you want to. Omit the carbs and starches like root vegetables, sugar fruits, and sugars. Just, if there's one big takeaway, I want you to always focus on, in every aspect of your life, think about the positive things. Be like, oh, I can have chicken wings, and I can have ribs, and I can have steak. All of these things you once thought were bad, you get to have. Don't be like, I can't have bread, I can't have rice. You have to start focusing on the positive aspects of your life. When I was told I have PCOS and you probably can't have your own kids, I didn't be like, I can't have my own kids. I was like, you know what? We're going to adopt kids and like try to change their life. And you want to be like that in all aspects of your life, not just the food thing, but if you want to be successful, like focus on the positive. Variety isn't the spice of life. It's a recipe for disaster. So I'm writing a book with one of the best fertility doctors in the entire world. And he always jokes that variety isn't the spice of life. That's when like you are set up for failure. Because think about, even if you go to a buffet and you put a whole bunch of keto food on your plate, okay? You start eating one thing, and when your brain gets bored, you move on to the next thing. And when your palate and brain gets bored, you move on to the next thing. And then you're just keep on going. But if you have one thing on your plate, when you're full, you're like, okay, I'm done. But if you keep stimulating your brain with different textures and flavors, you're going to tend to overeat. So it's just, if weight loss is goal, maybe kind of limit the options on the plate. So overeating doesn't happen. So the micronutrients in foods, if I were to ask you which of these are the most nutrient dense, kale, blueberries, or a steak, I want to show you this chart. The steak blows out blueberries, kale, and apples across the board. So if you look at calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, iron, zinc, selenium, all of these things, niacin, beef blows all of those fruits and vegetables out of the water. Beef liver is even better. So if you're like, oh, I don't really like organ meat, I don't want to eat liver, I'm going to tell you a trick. You grind up the liver and you add it to your hamburgers like a 4-to-1 ratio, or like my keto chili, like a 4-to-1 ratio. You don't have to eat just raw liver. You can hide it in things. Animal proteins are the most nutrient dense foods available without any anti-nutrients that rob things. So chicken, pork, eggs, salmon, these are all of the things that really fuel your body well. And somehow we lost it. I think it was when we started being afraid of saturated fat. The sheath of your bones are made up of saturated fat. We need to get back to the real source of health. What about fats? Fats have little to no micronutrients. They are essential, but they shouldn't be the focus. So instead of a bulletproof coffee, have some eggs, or like steak and eggs for breakfast and you'll get a double punch. Skip the like fat bombs and focus on real foods. So it's not the kale, it's not the blueberries, it's the steak. And so here are just some of the results. If you don't know who this is behind the book, this is Halle Berry. I may not be the most popular keto blogger out there. I'm kind of an introvert and I spend most of my time consulting clients rather than on social media. I'd rather be with my whales on the paddleboard or bow hunting than doing Instagram live videos. But I do have some pretty cool celebrities that understand my recipes are fast and easy and delicious. Halle Berry's one of them. Valerie Bertinelli is another one. She likes my book, Keto Comfort Foods. And Al Roker even made my bread on television. I only wish that he would have asked me to be on the show with him. So if you're looking for some weight loss inspiration, here are just a few of my clients. The first one, she lost 220 pounds. The next one, Sam, lost 285 pounds, or he was 285 pounds at my heaviest. I no longer suffer from ulcerative colitis, lost 104 pounds. On the bottom, I love him because he told me I was at the point where I couldn't even play with my kids. I had sleep apnea. I was a mess, and he lost 135 pounds. Ashley lost 254 pounds. Robin lost 150 pounds, gained 20 pounds of muscle. I love this last before after photo. 73 and 77 years old. You're never too old to change your life. Type 2 diabetes, my A1C was 10.7 and fasting glucose was 231. My A1C now is 5.0 and fasting glucose is 80. My husband was on 3 different meds for diabetes. He is now off 2 completely, and he's only taking a half a dose of the original medication. Here, Michelle lost 90 pounds and A1C went down from 9.7 to 5.4. Stopped taking a handful of medications. My A1C was 5 when I was taking meds. It was 7. My mom's kidney function has increased from an extremely dangerous 22% to 48%. Yay! Her proteins in her urine went down from severe to 2 stages to mild. Eczema, skin issues. So here, my son's eczema cleared up, and it's done miraculous for his ADHD. Denise's eczema is gone. Blood sugars are normal. Lost 55 pounds. My painful acne is gone. Joint muscle pain is gone. And as you can see, Christy lost a lot of weight. And here's a picture of, I remember this girl. She was in college. Her mom called me crying. I remember sitting on the couch. It was really late at night. She said, "You've got to help my daughter." And this change was in 5 days. And it wasn't just food, it was some supplements too, but in 5 days that happened. IBS, acid reflux, Crohn's, and colitis. My 7-year-old son was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and the doctor was completely floored with how well he was doing. Weaned him off steroids. Let's see, I am off all but one prescription medication. I was taking 600 pills a month. I had headaches every day, no energy, severe acid reflux, and IBS. I no longer suffer from ulcerative colitis. I love this one. I was hospitalized for severe ulcerative colitis. I was only 90 pounds. I use food to heal myself. I'm now able to run and lift weights. I'm off all medications. So in that case, she was underweight and now doing really well. Lost 70 pounds, less aches, IBS is gone, blood sugar is normal, moods improve, and many more benefits. Multiple sclerosis, Graves, and Parkinson's. Stacy says that her husband has feeling in place in his legs he hasn't had in about 20 years. He can walk on his heels, which he probably hadn't done in 20 years either, which is very amazing for multiple sclerosis. Huge thank you to you, Maria. After following the keto cleanse for 2 months, my Graves' disease is gone. 6 months now, and we can tell quite a difference in my dad's Parkinson's. It helps his balance, mood, and strength. I have no visible disabilities due to my MS, and my cognitive abilities are much better than ever. I've had MS for 20 plus years. My sister, who's battled MS for more than 25 years, had significant relief in only 90 days. Alzheimer's, moods, ADHD, and autism. Let's say I was bipolar, and keto has totally stabilized me. My daughter's ADHD is so much better. We put our 10-year-old son on the keto diet in November with hope to help his ADHD symptoms. His teacher said he's much more focused in class, especially after snack time, which used to be marks of outbursts and energy and lack of self-control. His grades went up in every subject. Let's see, I suffered weight gain. I can't see some of this, along with anxiety. I feel like I have some control over it. I no longer feel trapped in my dysfunctional body. My daughter was told she's borderline insulin resistant, ADHD, and had behavioral disorder. I no longer has symptoms of any of her conditions. For fibro, Lyme, chronic pain, I no longer have IBS symptoms and no fibro pain. Goodbye to migraines, asthma, and joint pain. Chronic migraines, bile, acid reflux, fibromyalgia, chronic pancreatitis, hormonal imbalances. This woe has changed my life. I'm medication free, and I put off major stomach surgery. My husband was diagnosed with chronic Lyme disease. I'm so thrilled to write he's doing unbelievably well. I was having migraines and mini seizures 3 times to 4 times a month. I haven't had a migraine. I have not had any migraines or seizures. Kidney function. Oh my gosh, I get so many people thinking that this diet is bad for the kidneys, but I can show you that's so not true. I went to the doctor yesterday. I was in stage 3 kidney disease. I'm now stage 2, which is great. My hubby went from 21% kidney function to 29 in only 4 months of keto. I was in stage 3 in 2017. I healed mine with keto. My mom is a diabetic and stage 4 kidney disease, had strokes. In the last 2 months, her kidney function has increased from extremely dangerous 22% to 48%. I lost 150 pounds. His blood pressure is better, and his kidneys are functioning much better too. And there's a before and after picture of them. Off medications. If you really want to save the environment, it's not about getting rid of the beef. It's about getting rid of the prescription medications, because pharmaceutical companies are one of the worst for polluting the environment. And these are just a few of the testimonies of clients getting off their medications. I just love all of these, off taking 600 pills a month and now off but 1 prescription medication. I used to use or take Wellbutrin 2 times a day, Abilify 1 time a day, Lisinopril 2 times a day, Cymbalta 3 times a day, Klonopin 2 times a day, and I'm off all of those medications now, and I don't have severe depression. I was on 10 different medications and a CPAP machine. I lost 109 pounds, all off all but one medication. And I love it when families do this together, because our kids should be eating this way too. So we help the future. And these are just some of the families that I've worked with. Daughter was told she was borderline insulin resistance. She lost 38 pounds and no longer has symptoms of her conditions. This family lost 281 pounds together. They won one of my contests. And here we've lost extreme inches, gained so much energy, mental clarity, hormonal balance, moods and drama, restful sleep, non-alarm early morning rises. The list goes on. And here's one of my keto coaches' husbands, Lori's husband. In 18 months, he lost over 200 pounds. He was over 400 pounds now, only 176. He was facing a kidney transplant. He had 3 heart attacks, numerous vascular issues. He's a testicular cancer survivor and the biggest warrior I know. He is a strict keto because you can't do lazy keto. He doesn't do carb ups, doesn't eat off plan. It was life or death for him. So books and services. I had to update my picture because there's so many books out there, and this isn't even all of them. None of my books overlap. They're all different new recipes, always experimenting in the kitchen. I have a free YouTube channel. We're making a lot of different recipes in the kitchen. That's our carnivore pizza crust. The protein noodle lasagna is on there. Big Mac chaffles are on there, you name it. We have a free macro calculator so you can get your macros done for free. Tell your friends, it's very helpful for everybody. And a free ebook for all of you if you are interested, and it's just at that link right there with meal plans. There's 14-day meal plans in there. And I have new keto courses. I have different live weekly webinars on Sundays, and at keto-adapted.com there's probably over 1,000 exclusive recipes on there, and a free blog at mariamindbodyhealth.com that has over 2,000 recipes on there and lots of information and giveaways. And I do have a keto coaching certification. If you have a passion for helping others, we have a keto coaching program is up and ready for registrations there. And that is the end of my presentation.